Hi there, world changers. Welcome to another episode of 21 Days of Gamification, where we'll be going into the art and the science of measurement-driven game design for social and environmental causes. Now, today's article is something really cool, and it's called Why the Earth Needs You to Start Hardware Hacking with Sensors. The full written article is available on my website, katiepatrick.com/articles, and you can also find it narrated on the How to Save the World podcast. So what is hardware hacking? It more or less means building computers from their basic components, kind of like the Lego of the electronics world. Now, hardware hacking is pretty cool. There's a special reason why I am so excited about it and its potential for environmental causes. Imagine that the Earth was a patient in a hospital. A sick patient would be covered with sensors, sensing their brain activity, sensing their heart, their blood pressure, how well their organs were functioning, and you'd be able to get that data real time. It would probably be displayed on a screen near the patient. And if something went wrong with that patient, the screen would start beeping, it would alert doctors and nurses nearby. They'd be able to understand exactly what was going on and attend to the symptom immediately. If we can care for a patient in a hospital with such technical detail, then why can't we do it for planet Earth? Well, we can. We need to develop the sensors and the technology to be able to get right into all of the triggers that signify to us what is wrong with the planet and feed the data back to us so we can immediately act and do something about it. And once we have this data, incredible opportunities for fixing environmental problems will open up to us. As you can imagine, it's kind of difficult to solve a problem if you're not getting really good quality, detailed information about it. And here's why the planet needs you to start getting excited about hardware hacking. Number one, we need more data. The more data we can have about environmental issues, the better our solutions will be able to be. And we need the data in more granular detail. For example, with air pollution, there's only one air pollution monitoring station in all of San Francisco. And that's more or less the same all over the world. You can't tell what the air pollution levels are per suburb, per district, per street. And the nature of air pollution is that it does require very detailed, granular information to be able to tell where the air pollution is really bad. And it's like this for every single environmental data variable, whether you're talking about garbage, about electricity, about water usage, about rainfall, about litter running off into the ocean. We need absolutely granular detail, not by whole states or whole cities, but right down to the street or the property. So we'll be able to map this data, understand it, color code it, and then be able to really get stuck into solving these issues. And once we have this granular level of detail, then we can start applying these powerful behavioral psychology and gamification techniques. For example, with air pollution, once we have the data per street or per property, then we can start ranking all of the properties or all of the streets in a particular suburb. So you'd be able to find out whether you rank 1st, 5th, 3rd, 20th, 50th, 100th in your area. And you might get really aggravated or inspired to change once you know what your score is in relation to all the other streets. We'll also be able to monitor whether the street is doing better or doing worse based on initiatives we're trying out to improve air pollution. We can provide awards and badges to streets that are doing really well, and we can use this mapping and this data to really activate local communities to help solve these problems. And in this way, data allows these causes to be really tangible, to be incredibly emotive, so we can really connect with the issue once we can see the numbers and see it mapped out on a physical two-dimensional map. We also need the data in real time. Imagine you had a Fitbit, and instead of telling you how many steps you were taking immediately, it told you once a week, or maybe once a month, or maybe it even only told you once a year how much exercise you were doing. As you can imagine, that would be a pretty crummy technology device, and it really wouldn't serve its purpose of inspiring you in the moment to make change to do more exercise. When it comes to environmental problems, we also need this real-time feedback. And the only way to get the real-time feedback is to start measuring this data with sensors and with electronic components that we can call hardware hacking. There's a great example that shows how important real-time, immediate environmental data feedback is. It comes from a study that was conducted by Todd Rogers at Harvard University on the company O-Power. If you don't know about O-Power, what they do is put a simple chart in electricity bills that shows where you are and then shows how you rank in comparison to your neighbours. So there'll be a bar with some people doing a bit better than you and a bar with different houses doing a bit worse than you. And you'll get a smiley face or even a double smiley face if you're doing really well at energy efficiency. O-Power has been a great success. Since they started putting the charts in electricity bills, they managed to get a 3% reduction in energy usage. This might not sound like a huge amount, but from the simple act of just putting this little chart in electricity bills, it's actually pretty substantial. Now, how does this relate to the immediacy of a real-time feedback loop? Well, this study that was done found that every time residents received their chart, their energy efficiency went up in a huge spike. But within 3 days, it actually just went right back down to normal. So this 3% advantage they're getting only happens right when people get the chart. The households get the chart inspires them to be more energy efficient, their energy efficiency goes up, and then a couple of days later, it's forgotten about. What this study tells us is that when people get the information, they really are inspired to change. And instead of giving them the information only once a month or once a quarter, if we can give it to them every day, constantly, even all the time, then they will be constantly motivated to change. And this can only be done with real-time data implemented in a feedback loop where we can see the information. We also need this data in a database. Traditional methods of gathering environmental data included scientists or researchers going out into the field and often writing down the numbers manually and then putting them into a PDF document, which maybe is on a government website somewhere. But if we want to develop web or mobile applications or make these real-time feedback loops, we need to get the data into a database that is computer readable. And the only way to do this is through sensors in the environment sending data to servers that save the data on a database that the machines and the website applications can read. This might sound really out there and technically advanced, but you can actually build these systems yourself with $100 or $200 worth of components as a home hobby project. You never know where your hardware hacking project will take you. We also need hardware hacking to be cheaper. And the more we go about making cool stuff that senses things in the environment, that will help the price come down. When I started my first hardware hacking project, I wanted to make a scale that sensed how much trash was in a normal trash can. I searched around online and I found a company where I could buy one from. They would have to custom make it, and they quoted me $2,500 for just an ordinary scale that measured trash in real time and sent the data to a database over Wi-Fi. Now, I didn't have $2,500 to spend on my little project. So what I did was I looked up the website sparkfun.com. I found a tutorial that explained exactly what I needed to do. And then I bought the components for under $100. And with the help of a couple of friends, it wasn't that hard. I put it together and it worked. But if we're going to collect all of this granular environmental data from all over the world, we really need the price to come down. And getting stuck into hardware hacking is a way to help achieve that. And don't forget, once you have data in real time in a feedback loop, then you'll be able to really get stuck into using it for game design and gamification features, which really work to push people to change. Here's a few data points that you can measure using simple electronic parts that you can purchase online. You can measure air pollution, water usage, water pollution levels. You can measure heat by temperature. You can also measure heat by thermal camera. You can measure electricity, physical movement. You can weigh the amount of waste that you're creating. And you can measure moisture and carbon dioxide. And that's just a start for the different type of environmental indicators that you can measure and then build a gamified behavior change application on top of. I have this vision for the future of the Earth, where the Earth is measured and monitored with as much detail and care as a patient in a hospital, where we'll be able to get this data and see it on a dashboard, so we'll be able to make intelligent and compassionate decisions in how we manage nature. The future I see is where we've become intelligent custodians of the planet, and we use all the technical progress we've made to be able to carefully care for the planet's ecosystem. And instead of technology working against nature, we reach this level of human civilization where humans, technology, and nature all work together as one synergistic organism. That's what I see in the future, and that's why I started hardware hacking and why I think you should too. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you'd like to see the full written article, there's actually a lot more detail in the written version. You can find it on my website, katiepatrick.com/articles. I'll leave a link in the description below. If you're the sort of person who prefers to listen, I know I definitely am, you can listen to the article on the How to Save the World podcast that you can find on iTunes. I created these 21 articles on gamification to help launch my video course called Save the World with Gamification. It's all about how to apply these principles of data, behavior change, and game design to social and environmental problems. I really absolutely loved learning these techniques, and I think you'll like learning them too. I hope you're inspired to start getting to work saving the earth with an Arduino and a soldering iron. And I will see you tomorrow for gamification article number 7.